8 men entered a dark cave on March 10th, 2024, chasing a dream of hidden treasure. They believed gold was buried deep inside, and they were ready to find it, but only 4 of them came back out. The others never made it. This story starts like an adventure, but ends in tragedy. Right from the beginning, the risk was real. That one line, "only 4 walked out," tells you something went terribly wrong. And now, we're going to uncover what happened. Before we dive into video, please subscribe our channel. As always, viewer discretion is advised. The men who entered the cave weren't just reckless dreamers. They believed they were prepared. Wearing protective suits and carrying digging tools, they felt confident. For weeks, they had studied old maps, followed secret clues, and listened to whispered legends about hidden gold buried during wartime. Every sign pointed to this one cave in Bukidnon. It felt like destiny. But while they brought gear and determination, they lacked the most important thing: experience. None of them were trained in cave exploration. They didn't understand the dangers of toxic gases, unstable ground, or how quickly a cave could turn deadly. Still, driven by hope and excitement, they stepped deeper into the cave, unaware of the risk. As the darkness swallowed the light behind them, their hearts beat faster with the thought of treasure. They were sure they were close. The setup was clear: 8 men, 1 dream, and a cave hiding both gold and a deadly secret. The stage was set for disaster. As the men dug deeper, the air grew heavier and colder, but they ignored it. Their minds were fixed on treasure. Then came a sound, a sharp metallic clang. It wasn't just dirt or rock. It was something different. Excitement rushed through them. Hands trembling, they scraped away the soil, revealing what looked like a hidden crate. In that moment, everything else disappeared. But then, a faint hiss escaped from the ground. Smoke began to rise, slow at first, then thick and dark. It burned their throats, stung their eyes, and filled their lungs. They started coughing, gasping for breath, stumbling in panic. The smoke wasn't normal. It carried a strange, bitter smell that made their bodies weak. That's when fear truly set in. They hadn't found gold. They had unleashed something deadly. Their dream quickly turned into a nightmare. The excitement was gone. In its place was confusion, pain, and pure terror as the cave began to consume them. They had no time to think. The smoke spread fast, filling every corner of the cave. The once silent tunnel echoed with coughs, gasps, and panicked cries. One by one, the men began to collapse. Ronnie was the first. He tried to reach the entrance but fell hard, coughing and clawing at his throat. Bibo stumbled ahead but couldn't go far. His strength faded and he dropped to the ground, gasping. John and Doy followed, their bodies giving up as the toxic air overwhelmed them. The gas, later identified as carbon monoxide, was invisible and deadly. It robbed them of oxygen, made their limbs weak, and shut down their bodies within minutes. These men weren't prepared for this. They weren't just lost. They were trapped in a silent, deadly fog. The dream they had chased for weeks ended in just a few moments. What was once a path to fortune had turned into a sealed tomb, and no one could save them now. Outside the cave, the remaining 4 men burst into the open, coughing and gasping for air. Their faces were pale, their bodies shaking. They collapsed onto the rocks, unable to speak, barely able to breathe. Each breath felt like fire in their lungs. They had escaped, but just barely. Behind them, 4 of their friends were still trapped inside, lost in the thick, poisonous air. News of the incident spread quickly. By nightfall, emergency teams arrived, but there was a new problem. No one could go in. The cave was filled with carbon monoxide, a silent killer. Even trained rescuers risked death without proper gear. The atmosphere inside was too dangerous, too unpredictable. Rescuers had to wait, plan, and move slowly. Hours passed before they could go deep enough to find the bodies, and when they did, what they saw broke them. Lifeless men frozen in their final struggle. The cave, once filled with hope, had become a grave. When rescuers finally reached the men inside, the scene was heartbreaking. The 4 who didn't make it were found lying still, frozen in the last moments of their struggle. One had collapsed mid-crawl, arms stretched out toward the entrance. Another had fallen against the cave wall, his body slumped and lifeless. Their faces looked calm, as if they had fallen asleep before realizing the danger. The rescuers moved carefully, lifting each body with respect and sorrow. Outside, families waited in tears, hoping for a miracle, but they already knew the truth. The bodies were carried out one by one, wrapped and silent. People watched in shock as the cost of the treasure hunt became real. The pain wasn't just physical, it was emotional, deep, and unforgettable. What started as an adventure had ended in a tragedy no one saw coming. The cave had taken more than lives that day. It had taken dreams, friendships, and the peace of everyone left behind. After the recovery, everyone wanted answers. What had caused the deadly gas to fill the cave so suddenly? Investigators searched for clues. Some believed the men had accidentally triggered an old wartime trap, poison gas left behind to protect buried treasure. Others thought it was natural, a buildup of carbon monoxide caused by decaying matter sealed underground for decades. But no one could say for sure. The mystery only made things worse. What if it wasn't an accident? What if something had been waiting to be disturbed? The cave held no clear explanation, only silence. The lack of answers created fear and curiosity. People began to wonder, was it just bad luck? Or was the cave cursed? Even experts couldn't agree. This uncertainty made the tragedy even harder to accept. It wasn't just a loss, it was a puzzle that left behind more questions than answers. And that mystery continues to haunt those who remember what happened inside. The survivors were rushed to the hospital, suffering from severe carbon monoxide poisoning. Their bodies were weak, their lungs damaged, and their minds filled with horror. Some couldn't speak for days. One of them, barely able to whisper, said, "It happened so fast. 1 second we were digging, the next everything went dark." The trauma was deep, not just from the gas, but from watching their friends die beside them. These men had shared a dream, but only half of them came back. Now, they were left with guilt, fear, and memories they could never erase. Authorities used this moment to issue strong warnings. They reminded the public that caves are dangerous, especially without training, permits, or proper equipment. This wasn't the first tragedy caused by illegal treasure hunting, and it wouldn't be the last. The survivors had paid a high price. They had risked everything for a legend, and in return, they were given a nightmare they'd never forget. Despite the tragedy, the mystery of what the men found still lingers. Some believe they really did uncover a lost treasure, perhaps a wartime crate filled with gold. Others think they triggered something meant to stay hidden forever. There were whispers that just before the smoke appeared, the men had struck something metallic, something sealed. Did they disturb a trap, or was it truly the treasure? No one knows for sure, but the uncertainty feeds the legend. People still talk about it, still wonder what was inside that crate. Some even believe that the men had a glimpse of it before the gas took over. This mystery keeps the story alive. It turns a tragedy into something more, a chilling tale of greed, danger, and secrets buried deep underground. And for some, it's not a warning, it's a challenge. The unknown is powerful, and even after death, the promise of gold continues to call others into the shadows. The cave in Bukidnon is now silent, undisturbed, and sealed off. But the story hasn't died. People still whisper about Yamashita's gold, still dream about the fortune that might lie beneath the rocks. Even after the deaths, there are some who believe they can succeed where others failed. They plan, they prepare, and they hope. But the earth remembers. It holds on to its secrets tightly and doesn't forgive those who try to take them without respect. The passage where 4 men lost their lives is more than just a cave. It's a grave, a warning, a place where dreams turned into death. Yet, the legend lives on, spreading quietly from village to village, post to post, daring the next group to try their luck. And somewhere, right now, others are getting ready to go back. They think they will return with gold. But if this story teaches us anything, it's that the cave takes more than it gives, and it never forgets.